All right, joining me live on the broadcast is Eyewitness Eian Allen, who in fact is recounting that horror when it all unfolded at the Utah University event. Eian, thank you for joining in on CNN News 18. We speak in troubled times and we stand in solidarity with you. But if you could please describe the moment when the gunshot actually happened, what was happening that time, what was your reaction, what was the reaction of everyone over there?
No, you're good. Yeah, so the gunshot happened and everybody heard it. There was kind of a pause. I for one didn't know if it was actual gunshot or if it was some sort of firecracker. And of course everybody dropped. And so then I went down a little bit and next thing you know, Charlie is being carried away. That's when I saw his security guards jump all over him. And then everybody ran. I I watched everybody run away. I went and opened the door actually for some people, and I held it open, and I could see everybody's faces. There's tons of people, tons of age group, as they were all crying and running through. So very crazy experience. It all happened really quick, and it was just like that.
It's crazy and disturbing indeed. But if you could also mention the kind of security cover that was present over there, given that Charlie was viewed as a controversial figure, was there any security cover present at the moment the attack took place?
There was security. The guys surrounding his table, I don't know what type of security, but I know up top, right above him, the police were there. But that's the security I saw. There wasn't a ton of security out in the crowd, actually monitoring the people, but there was some men surrounding his table that all jumped on him after he was shot.
The manhunt is still on, where the police are still looking out for the killers at the university campus. In fact, they've spread the manhunt. It's now beyond the entire university campus. If you could share with us, what are you learning about this entire manhunt?
I'm not super sure. The time right now here is about 1 o'clock in the morning. But from what I last heard, that Governor Cox said they are actively looking for the man, the shooter, but that he is still at large.
What is it that stood out about Charlie for you, given that he was also viewed as a controversial figure, but you were part of that Utah event that he was addressing? What is it that really drew you about Charlie?
So I consider myself a very conservative person. So I do love his views, and I love that he is willing to go on a equal ground and debate others about these opinions, because nowadays that is really hard. Because nowadays, there's a lot of violence. So for him to go on equal grounds and have a one-on-one debate with people is something that I really admire about him. And his points are very strong and very much what I believe in too. So that's what I admire about him.
Eian, in the last few years, we've observed that US has been on a knife's edge, especially when you look at Donald Trump's previous presidency, which was marked by the Black Lives Matter movement. We've seen several assassination attempts against him, especially when he was campaigning for his second presidency, and now Charlie's assassination. What explains this rise of political violence in the United States, in your point of view?
My understanding, I think it is something that is very wrong. I think we all have freedom of speech, but it is escalated a lot, I think, because people love being offended. And so that's what makes people hate more. And that was something I learned with this shooting, is that we can't hate all liberals because of what happened here, right? This guy was a bad dude. He was part of this political violence, and he shouldn't have done that. but I know many other people who share their opinions and aren't as publicly violent. So I think everybody just has a lot of hate in their hearts at the moment, a lot of contention.
Even in these testing times, you're calling for tolerance, which is rather heartwarming. But how do you respond to all of those critics who have questioned the kind of rhetoric that is now taking over the United States? They're saying that it is this deeply divided political conservative rhetoric which is responsible for this kind of political violence. How do you respond to those critics?
That is a very good question, but I guess I would say I believe that Charlie, he was a very good man. He had a family, as all are saying. He has a family. He has 2 kids, and I think there needs to be something done about this. This can't keep happening. Um, and so I would say, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
We need to do something about it, but
All right, let's now end with the focus on the larger problem, a systemic one at that, which is gun violence. Do you believe that Donald Trump is doing enough to handle gun violence in the country?
yeah. So with this question, it's a little hard. I don't know much on what Trump is doing now. I just got back from Brazil, but I have seen that most of the gun violence has come from the left side. That is, and are the people saying that we need to create these more gun laws. And so I think that is actually more safe that all of us um, have that right to own guns. I saw in Brazil that it was very unsafe because it was illegal to have arms, yet somehow all the bad people still owned guns. And so instead of, you know, nobody having guns, it was actually just the good people that didn't have guns and evil people using them as a weapon, as something bad. So I do stand for the Second Amendment, that we should have arms.
All right, we leave it at that. Many thanks to you, Eian, for joining in. India stands in solidarity with all of you over there. Now, in fact, to add to what's been happening, we can tell you that the manhunt is still on. There were initially 2 suspects which had been zeroed in. They had been arrested and rather detained, but they have been relieved as of now. But the manhunt continues. The larger problem, of course, is that Charlie was also observed as one of the leading conservative voices, somebody who actively participated in campaigning for Donald Trump as well. In fact, Trump has also expressed his sorrow and grief, and we do hope that those who are responsible for the assassination of Charlie Kirk are in fact nabbed at the soonest. But we still don't know whether there is one person involved or how many. Several intel reports are also indicating that perhaps the attack did not take place from the university campus. It was perhaps from a rooftop which was adjoining to the university campus.